Go video, what's going on? Here we are with a video. It's gonna be one of them story time videos. It's gonna be a story about an experience that I've had, estate sailing. Anyone that really knows me, I'm a pretty avid, die-hard estate sailor, hustler and flipper and scrounger and dumpster diver and all that good stuff. Yep, we're doing the video in the van. We're going to be bouncing around everywhere. So I'm going to tell you the story about an estate sale I went to. It creeped me out for years, and I still avidly think about it. So the story takes place in Uncantaville, Connecticut, on a Friday in the summertime. It was hot. I camped out from like 7 to 9 in the morning, so it was a long camp, and some of the material in the house was decent. I won't lie, it was decent, and I started to hunt for an item all the time after the sale, and it really changed my picking style and my thought process of how I pick an item sometimes, because you got to think about it. An estate sale, well, why is the estate sale happening? Well, the likelihood of why anyone's having an estate sale is someone's passed on, someone's expired, someone died, and that was the case scenario in this Uncantaville house. Is somebody died and they were estating their stuff. So I remember walking through the kitchen, and there was carpet in the kitchen, and I just found that kind of odd. I don't know why, and there was a huge chunk of the carpet missing, and I just found that odd, and it always stood out right off the bat, right when I walked in the house. Because when I go in, I don't want to be like the first area I kind of go for is the kitchen, but after that sale, the first area I usually go for is the kitchen. Why? I don't know. It's just like this thing that I do. Unless of something else is of insignificant importance, I'll beeline it for somewhere else. But I'll always pull open the kitchen drawer and check for the knives. I want to see if there's kitchen knives in there. I do know the kitchen knives do really well. Through past experience of selling kitchen knives, they do. And it's a good item to avidly hunt for, but this particular sale, I avidly hunted like 20 to 30 kitchen knives, and was kind of surprised that somebody would have so many large kitchen knives in their home. Because I always remembered in the day of growing up with a family of 7 that you didn't really have knives in the house. It wasn't smart, because I mean, I've cut myself open in bagels before. My mom never trusted us with a knife because I don't know, I don't want to be like that running with scissors thing and you had to hold it like this, but we always ran with scissors, like holding them up and whatever. We always did stupid shit that we weren't supposed to do, basically. So I make my pile, and I'm getting ready to check out. Got my price quote for the day, and hold on, let me get rid of this. Save that. Get my price quote for the day and see what the damage done is. All right. I believe I remember that I paid, I think, $500 for everything that day, and I felt it was a little pricey. I I did record the haul video, if you want to ever go back and watch the haul video, because it does pertain to the story, because what I got out of the house, I literally show in a haul video every single item. And so, with that being said, I'm just trying to give you some backstory. With that being said, I'm checking out to pay, and the Estatesale owner is a friend of mine. So, he wants to give me a little tidbit on what's going on within the house, I guess. He says, "Did you hear about this house?" And I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" And he's like, somebody was murdered in this house. 2 people were murdered inside this house, in the kitchen." I'm like, "Really?" And right when he said that, I don't want to be like I knew what happened, but I kind of knew what happened. And he starts to tell me the story of that the grandparents were raising their nephew, a troubled nephew of one of their child's. This was one of their child's child, and he's a troubled child. And for some weird reason, these people had a very significant amount of kitchen knives in their house, and yeah, he ended up killing his parents, his grandparents, inside the house in the kitchen with one of the kitchen knives while they were eating dinner one night. And it kind of stuck in with me, you know. It really related hard. I don't want to bring up any, unhashed things or anything like that, but I will just say my brother was murdered in 2006 by somebody with a kitchen knife. They stabbed him in the heart on the street, and he died. One fatal wound. One fatal wound, and he died. Sadly, these grandparents suffered over 80 stab wounds and died. And I was at a crossroad of whether or not to buy all this freaking crap out of this house. And I already worked for 2 hours of gathering it all, and am I supposed to just put it all back? That was a long crossroad, and it honestly makes me think about what I take into my home and what I don't take into my home, and bad juju behind items and stuff. Now, I will say I used the findings of that, what happened, to my advantage, as, I guess one might say it was a bad idea out of me, but at the time it felt like definitely a good idea out of me to make an ad on some of the knives, mainly 2 of them that were like the better ones. And I made an ad basically stating that these knives could have had the thought of murder. Like the kid could have had those in his hand one night and thought about killing his parents or his grandparents. And might not have with that particular knife, but definitely might have had the thought process while holding it. I don't want to be like Criminal Minds or anything, but I did use that information to upsell the knives to people that are into freaking weird shit. I don't want to be like laughing about it, but yeah. So the reason why I avidly hunt the knives is definitely a post-traumatic stress of what happened to my brother, where I feel like I'm like trying to avidly collect all the kitchen knives so that no one else suffers in the world from a fatal stab wound of something so simple as a kitchen knife. And obviously my efforts are never gonna be able to, you know, do anything in the world, but in my heart I feel like I'm doing something to help the cause in some sort of way. And I don't know, I just felt really weird at the moment in time when I brought that stuff home. And I don't know, it was just a weird moment where more or less that year or the year after I really thought about what I would buy, thought about what it was going to take, because now I'm thinking like avidly, really hard about, you know, where's this item been, who's touched it, and what they do with it, and just the history of it. And it really does help to open up like more historical items, I guess you could say, like stuff that actually does have meaning, like parts of history and stuff like that. So I mean, it did help, and it definitely made me a better picker. I would, you know, be a better picker. But yeah, just an odd, weird story. I hope I told it well. I hope I didn't steer you out of wanting to go picking or touching other people's stuff. But the truth of the matter is, you'd never know unless if someone told you, and you know, that's how it goes with tangible items in the world. You don't know where they've been, and you don't know what they've done, and you don't know the thought processes of even just the moment in time of the thought. Thanks. I hope you enjoyed the story. Peace.